I am the evil female supporting character in a sadistic novel. The male protagonist caused a scene and made the female protagonist angry. Then he took it out on me. He said he was avenging the female protagonist. He also blamed me for lying to him. He said I was the one who saved him when he was little. I snorted derisively. I raised my hand and slapped him twice. It's not about who saved you. You'll like whoever you like. What if the person who saved you was your father? Don't you dare cross me. I didn't understand until after I died. I turned out to be the evil female supporting character in a sadistic novel. At first, I sowed discord. I targeted the female protagonist Emily at every turn. Then Emily got pregnant and left. The male protagonist Ethan tried to win her back. He took it out on me first. My ending was tragic. I went bankrupt and disfigured. I ended up dying in a fire. My spirit drifted for an unknown period of time. Now I'm back to the day Ethan first met Emily. This is my birthday party. Emily was short of money, so she came in as a temporary worker, but she accidentally broke a very expensive bottle of red wine. I was so angry in my previous life. I pushed Emily into the water with one hand. Ethan felt that I was bullying people, so he jumped in to save her. This incident became the beginning of my bad luck, but now I'm not going to pursue it with her anymore. It's fine. If something breaks, it breaks. She didn't mean it. I'll just let her clean it up and let her go. But one of my friends refused to let it go. This is the wine uncle specially bought for your birthday. It was shipped from abroad. We can't just let it go. After he finished speaking, he pushed Emily into the pool next to us with one palm. Well, I couldn't stop him in time. The pool is 2 meters deep. Emily can't swim. Ethan won't blame this on me, will he, to avoid getting into trouble? I quickly took off my shoes and jumped into the water to save Emily. Everyone around me screamed, but I couldn't move. My legs suddenly cramped up. The people around the pool sensed something was wrong. Ethan was the first to jump into the water. He swam towards me. Although my leg was cramping up, I was still able to protect myself. I endured the pain. I kicked Ethan away. I don't need your help. Save her. He swam back to shore on his own. Emily only got a few mouthfuls of water. She's fine. I'm relieved. I spit out the water in my mouth. I get in the water, still to save Emily. Ethan, don't blame me in the future. You died a miserable death in your past life. I brought this on myself. Right now, I just want to avoid Ethan and Emily. After the birthday, I told my father about breaking off the engagement. He asked, "What? Did Ethan bully you?" "Don't worry. Dad will take care of it for you." I heard his voice was loud and clear. He looked rosy and healthy. My eyes got a little wet. I remembered how he looked after his company went bankrupt in his previous life. He jumped off the roof in despair. "No, it's that I don't have feelings for him. When you got engaged, you were so happy that you posted 10 status updates on your friends' walls." My dad looked at me with disbelief. His tone of voice was reassuring but also stern. Okay. If Ethan really bullied you, Dad would definitely stand up for you. But right now, our company still relies on Ethan's family for support. Don't be silly. I drove to school. I'm a junior now. I still have classes to attend. On the way, I saw a thief snatch a boy's bag. He got on a motorcycle and tried to run away. Hey, the fact that I couldn't break off the engagement was already annoying enough. I acted on impulse. I drove my car into the thief's motorcycle. I forced him to the side of the road. I controlled the force just right. He was dizzy but unharmed. But the thief was not yet convinced. He picked up his motorcycle and tried to escape again. Once again, I crashed into him. The boy came over too. He got his bag back. I left the police report to him. I turned around and left. I was about to drive off. Suddenly, the boy pulled the thief's car key, quickly subdued the thief, blocked in front of my car. My honking was useless. I rolled down the window and said, "You're welcome." "Excuse me." He insisted that I give him my contact information. He said there was a dent in the front of my car. He was willing to pay for the damage. I said, "No need. I don't lack money," looking at the way the boy was dressed. I guessed he was a poor student. His pockets were even emptier than his face. Why bother saving face? I turned around and walked away. The more I tried to avoid Ethan and Emily, the more things happened that were not going according to my plan. A few friends who were close to me messaged me. They said that Ethan seemed to be getting close to a college student recently. They also sent me a photo. The person in the photo was Emily. I didn't even bat an eyelid. I was used to it. I told them to leave it alone. But unexpectedly, the emperor was in no hurry, but the eunuchs couldn't wait. They even took it upon themselves to drug Ethan and Emily. They said they were doing it to take revenge for me. They planned to send Emily to the bed of an old fat man. They even sent me the address. They told me to hurry and give Ethan the antidote. It really made me mad. I was scared out of my wits. Oh my God. How could people make such a big mistake? In my previous life, they egged me on to drug Ethan and Emily, and I planned to have sex with Ethan. But Ethan pushed me away and ran away. Emily also escaped from the room of the old man who had drugged her. The two of them met, they had sex. Afterwards, Ethan thought that Emily had climbed into his bed on purpose while he was drugged. He felt something for her again, but he didn't realize it. So they started a sadomasochistic relationship. Later, I regretted it. This became one of the triggers that plunged me into a desperate situation. But now I didn't do anything. They actually finished it for me. I didn't want to seek death, but they pushed me hard towards the dead end. I didn't even change my shoes at home. I rushed to help in my slippers. I kicked open the hotel room door. I saw Emily struggling as she was being pinned down by an old man. Fortunately, her clothes were still on. I immediately pulled the old man away. What an idiot. The old man was in the middle of a sentence. He suddenly stopped. He smiled awkwardly. It turned out to be Mtkes Anderson. He didn't dare offend me. Because my father is Anderson. My fiancé is Ethan. I took the opportunity to shout, "Go away." Suddenly, I remembered something. I quickly patted my head. I immediately called the personal doctor. I used medication to reduce the effect of drug C. I took Emily to the bathtub. I filled it with cold water. I wanted to calm her down. Then I went to look for Ethan, but I couldn't find him anywhere. I decided to go back and look after Emily first. She was delirious. I was afraid something would go wrong if I left her alone for long. I opened the door. At a glance, I saw Ethan standing next to the bathtub. He was holding Emily's neck tightly. The two of them were locked in a passionate kiss. I raised my hand and wiped my face. My heart felt numb. No wonder they were the protagonists in the story. I went up to them and pulled them apart. Ethan saw it was me. He immediately sobered up a bit. I took the shower head and poured water on his face. "You were drugged, but you can't force someone. You're taking advantage of someone in a vulnerable state. Understand? After my intervention and that of the personal physician, they didn't pursue their relationship. When they both came to their senses, I explained the situation to them. I didn't harm Boren, but Boren died because of me. I'm responsible for this. I will definitely control my friends in the future. No wonder Emily could be the heroine. She immediately forgave me. Ethan said I was messing around. I took the opportunity to say that I wanted to break off the engagement, but he frowned and disagreed. He said, "You saw me kiss Emily because of the effect of the drug. You are my fiancé. If you don't break off the engagement now, you'll have a hard time chasing after your wife in the future." With the previous lesson in mind, I remembered a major event that happened later. Emily and I were kidnapped together by Ethan's enemies. They wanted Ethan to pay a ransom to free them. The kidnappers forced him to choose, either save his fiancé or save the one he loved. Ethan chose to save me. As a result, Emily was abused by those people. This is one of the most heartbreaking parts of the story. Later, this sad point became a highlight. Ethan let me experience the pain Emily suffered at that time. He blamed me for the accident. He said if he hadn't rescued me first, Emily wouldn't have been in that kind of predicament. I spat out a mouthful of saliva. I felt that this was complete nonsense. Ethan's enemy wanted to take revenge on him. They could have just arrested him. Why did they also kidnap me and Emily? If Ethan hadn't made enemies with someone, Emily and I would never have been in trouble. In the end, he even blamed me. He said it was my fault that Emily had suffered. It was obvious that he had caused us to suffer. He should have saved me in the first place. It really made me angry. Everyone I met was so unreliable. I immediately signed up for a kickboxing class. I started practicing seriously. No one could control me. What I didn't expect was that the kickboxing coach was actually the boy whose bag had been stolen that I had seen before. Alex's eyes lit up when he saw me. His eyes lit up. We met again. After he found out that I was still studying at University A, he kept calling me sister. It made him seem very close to me. I had my doubts about his professional abilities, so he excitedly showed me a bit of what he could do. That was enough for me to reluctantly agree to let him teach me. I already told my friends not to interfere with Ethan, Emily, and me. They nodded repeatedly. They asked me questions. They meant that you don't have feelings for him now. We'll just go our separate ways. I laughed. I, Mtkes Anderson, have looks and money. Why do I need to please Ethan? A few days later, they asked me to go to a place where we could relax. I seriously agreed. Where is morality? Where is the bottom line? Where is the address? I had a gentle brother in my left arm and a handsome brother in my right. I really didn't want to let go. They poured me a drink. I drank it all. After drinking a little too much, I sent a message asking the family chauffeur to come pick me up. Half an hour later, the person who appeared in the compartment made me almost think I was mistaken. I looked at my phone. I found that the message had been sent to Alex by mistake. I handed him the car keys. "Can you drive?" He pursed his lips. He walked over and helped me. "Okay." I asked him to take me to a large flat with a river view in my name. I was afraid to go home. I was afraid that my father would scold me if he saw me. When we arrived at the place, I collapsed on the sofa. "I'll transfer the money to you tomorrow. Don't forget to close the door when you leave." After a long time, the door still didn't ring. I reluctantly opened my eyes. "Why are you still here?" "Sis, the man outside is not clean. If you want, I can." I laughed directly after hearing this. "You are short of money." "Me." He suddenly felt annoyed. He couldn't hear what the other person was saying. He could only see his mouth moving nonstop. I really wanted to shut him up right away. In my previous life, I spent all day looking after Ethan. Now I haven't even managed to get out of the engagement. I don't believe I'll hang myself from a tree. A rebellious streak took over. I dragged Alex down. I pinned him down. I vented a good deal. It was tossing and turning until midnight. Only then did I fall into a deep sleep. I opened my eyes. I saw Alex lying on his side. He was playing with my hair in his hands. I sat up. "I transferred him some money. You can go now." He sent the transfer back. He put his arms around my waist from behind and said, "Sister, I did it willingly." Luckily, I was prepared. Ethan's enemies came knocking. I've been in this situation before. I could only fall weakly, but now I'm in perfect shape. I can run 2 miles in one breath. This time only Emily was kidnapped. Ethan is busy raising money to save her. I've already spoken directly to the kidnappers. "Ethan sent you. Listen carefully. We won't release his lover until we get the money. The leader of the kidnappers has a knife pressed against Emily's neck. He looks unruffled. I sit down slowly. Behind me, a row of bodyguards stand. "How much have you got?" I fiddle with the key ring. I give a sly smile. "I don't have a penny." "HM? That's right. You must want your rival dead at our hands." The kidnapper's grip on the knife loosened slightly. I waved my index finger. I said with a fake calm, "You've got it wrong. I'm here to rescue her." The kidnapper's boss replied with a smile. "You think I'll let her go for free? Ethan has caused me so much suffering. I'm definitely going to make him pay." I said with a clap. "Well said. But what are you doing now? You have the wrong person. Instead of Ethan, you tried to kidnap Emily and me. The donkey does nothing all day. It just kicks you in the head, right? It's no use just making him feel bad. Only when he really feels pain is it real pain. If you guys have the guts, go deal with him." The kidnapper was a bit stunned by my yelling. He felt that I had a point. The knife in his hand was at Emily's neck. He couldn't let her go. If I don't release her, I'm not doing my job. As a gangster, I have to follow the rules of the underworld. I clapped my hands. The bodyguards brought out 2 people with their mouths taped shut. The kidnapper's eyes widened. They shouted angrily, 4th and 5th. "If you let Emily go, I'll give you back your 2 brothers. The leader of the kidnappers hesitated. "Look at your boss. He doesn't care about his brothers' lives for the sake of money. How can you work for someone like that? You have to win them over," I said. "Don't say that." He was furious. As I was leaving with Emily, the kidnappers shouted after us. "You're not being fair." I looked back at them. I said, "I've reunited your brothers. How can you say that about me?" The siren of the police car wailed. "Their future is full of hope," Emily said nervously. "Mtks Anderson, I'm sorry, Ethan and I." Before I could say anything, Ethan came. He probably didn't show Emily much interest. Because I was there, I gave him a look and said, "Let's talk," I said directly. "Let's call off the engagement." "Mtks Anderson, I don't have feelings for Emily. No one can shake your position." Ethan retorted, "Listen to what you're saying. Does it sound reasonable? You want to have it both ways? That's not going to happen." "Mtks Anderson, don't be ridiculous. Our engagement isn't just about," I interrupted. "I understand. You're saying that this is about the interests of both families. If we break off the engagement, the 2 families can still work together. We don't have to be tied together. A business alliance sounds good. You're just eager to become a high-class escort. Why don't you just sleep with my father? Save me from getting in the middle." Filial piety is really powerful. My father, who was far away in his hometown, suddenly sneezed. Although the words are rude, the meaning is not, but your statement is too direct, in a word. Retreat or not, I frowned. No retreat. I took a deep breath. Say, Emily likes you. You like Emily too. You two are a perfect match. I don't like you. Do you understand, Mtks Anderson? I understand that my contact with Emily has upset you, but it is you that I truly like. She is only after my money. If you don't like her, I will tell her to leave immediately. I rolled my eyes in anger. I gritted my teeth. Eyes are on the face. They only blink and don't look. The way he is now. If he regrets it in the future, he is only asking for it. I have already proposed to withdraw from the marriage twice, and I haven't done anything to Emily. Now he keeps pestering me. If he wants trouble in the future, then don't blame me for being rude. I was a vicious female supporting character in my previous life, and I'm not a good person now, after the kidnapping incident. I felt that Sanda was not very useful to me, so I kind of relaxed my training. Alex asked me every day when I was going to train, and sent me pictures of his abs, which made me a little distracted. I went to see him. I lifted his chin gently and said, "You know I have a fiancé, right?" He replied, "That's okay. As long as I can be with you, I'll be content. The title belongs to him, but you belong to me." He was cunning as a fox. I couldn't help but laugh. He's quite something. I handed him the key to the penthouse. He was particularly concerned about decorating the place. He also asked if I could keep a dog. I nodded. I let him get on with it. He's got a good attitude, and he's cooperative. I think that's enough. A post suddenly appeared on the campus forum. It was about Emily. There were photos of her getting into luxury cars online. Someone also revealed that she received the highest amount of financial aid every year. Very quickly, all kinds of nasty things were pinned on her. I did arrange this before. Ethan refused to help Emily solve it. As a result, her reputation at school got worse and worse. In the end, she was almost persuaded to withdraw from school. This is also why she was completely disappointed in Ethan later, one of the reasons for choosing to leave. Now she and I don't interfere with each other, but she was still tricked. I rested my chin and thought, from drugging and kidnapping under the water to spreading rumors. It seems that Ethan and Emily's relationship frustrations are the same as in the past life. Even if I don't do it, someone else will do it for me. The person who posted only exposed Emily. He didn't dare implicate Ethan. Since Ethan didn't help Emily in his previous life, he probably wouldn't do it this time either. I thought of a way. Ethan stays out of this, maybe because it doesn't involve him. I used my trumpet to post a message on the forum. I dragged Ethan into this public controversy. Once Ethan is involved, the media will definitely jump in. The situation has reached a critical juncture. There's no need for Emily to beg for his help. I'm afraid he's the one who's most anxious. In this way, Emily can be protected, and my father can agree to call off the engagement. It's killing two birds with one stone. Ethan has brought shame on the Andersons. The fault is on his side. My father is so concerned about Face. He definitely can't swallow this humiliation. This marriage I will definitely call off. It turned out just as I thought. Ethan quickly calmed the storm of public opinion. My father was determined to dissolve the engagement with the Ethan family, because he found out that Ethan had a bad character. He couldn't bear to see me suffer. Ethan begged to see me outside my family's villa. He promised to immediately sever his relationship with Emily. He just hoped that I would give him another chance. I decided to completely end it with him. I finally saw him. You don't need to explain anymore. If you really care about me, you wouldn't keep having an ambiguous relationship with Emily. Things have come to this. You still have to hit a wall before you turn back. You think there's something about you that I like? You're getting old. Your skin is sagging. You have a lot of problems. Your brain is not working well. He looked ugly. He said with clenched teeth, "Mtks Anderson, look, you're not happy when I tell you the truth. I stand on the moral high ground. It's effortless to accuse him." Suddenly, I saw black. When I opened my eyes again, I was already in the hospital. The doctor told me, "My uterus is too fragile. It will be difficult to get pregnant again." Ethan sat by my bed, holding my hand tightly. His eyes were red, full of deep affection. "Mtks Anderson, don't worry. I will ask Emily to give you her uterus. We will have our own children in the future." So soon, the scene has reached Ethan forcing Emily to donate her uterus to me. I shook off his hand. "You know that what you did is particularly offensive. You think your bloodline is so noble. Why should I give birth to your child? Emily's womb is not up for discussion. This is a society ruled by law." "Dude," there were sobbing sounds coming from the door. It was Emily. She looked at Ethan with a face full of hurt. She was full of disbelief. I noticed that she was holding a piece of paper in her hand. It said pregnancy test report. My mind snapped. Explain quickly. Don't get me wrong, I'm breaking off the engagement. I had nothing to do with his idea to ask you to donate your womb. He's completely out of his mind. I even gave Ethan a kick when I said that. Say something. Emily couldn't hear anything. Tears kept running down her face, like a little white flower being battered by the wind. Ethan was just as stubborn as a mule. He refused to say a word of explanation. Finally, Emily left in tears. I lay back on the bed, feeling powerless. It felt like it was all over. Emily had just left. At first, Ethan didn't take it seriously. He even said, "She won't last 3 days. She'll come crying back to me. This father of mine really makes me speechless. Forget it. Anyway, he's the only one who'll suffer in the end. If he wants to chase after his wife, or if he wants to take revenge, just don't get me and the company involved." I suddenly remembered. I hadn't contacted Alex for a month. I kind of miss him, so I sent him a message. "I've been really busy lately. I haven't been able to get back to you. Are you okay? You haven't found someone else?" "Have you?" Alex said. "How dare I, sis? What about you?" I said. "Don't ask questions like that. It'll affect our unity. Be ready to wait for me tonight. After it's over." He held my hand and we locked fingers. He took out his phone and took a photo. I saw him preparing to post it on WeChat Moments. I immediately took his phone, deleted the photo. I was still wearing the ring I usually wear. I had just broken off the engagement with Ethan. I didn't want to get into trouble again. I gave him the phone back with a warning look. Talking about relationships is fine, but not in public. Promises are fine, but not in a WeChat moment. He said with a grievance, "Sister, I don't have any other thoughts. It's just that recently a girl has been pestering me. I want her to understand that I have a girlfriend." I casually kissed the back of his hand. I said, "I was wrong to suspect you." He said smugly, "Sister, you seem like a scumbag." She replied, "That's just who I am. Take a good look. Do you still like me?" I admitted, "I do." He leaned in close to me and whispered, "Good." I thought the family business would go smoothly. But when I woke up in the morning, I found that Anderson's stock price had plummeted. I was so angry that I gnashed my teeth. I stormed straight into Ethan's office. She grabbed the file on his desk and slammed it in his face. Angrily, she asked, "What did you mean by that, this meeting?" His attitude towards me completely changed. It was like a different person. The way he looked at me was cold as a knife. He said, "If you hadn't lied to me and said that you were the one who saved me when I was little, how could I have gotten engaged to you? Now I know. It was Emily who saved me. If you hadn't lied to me, I wouldn't have done those things to hurt Emily." "Ha," he said coldly. He still didn't admit it. "The scar on your arm is the iron evidence. You did that injury on purpose to get close to me. What a painstaking effort." I slapped him immediately. "Whoever saves you, you like. So if a man saves you, you can also become gay. If a rescue dog saves you, you'd still want to fall in love with a different species. When did you say you did it for me? When did I mention saving you? You just guessed based on a scar. I hurt myself when I was a kid playing on the slide. Working with your family. Don't tell me you didn't get something out of it. You haven't unloaded the millstone yet, and you're already killing the donkey. Stop pretending. You're the one who's most sorry for Emily. If you couldn't control yourself, how would she have run away? If you really feel guilty, you might as well castrate yourself." Ethan was stunned by my blow. He was also dumbfounded by my scolding. He was physically and mentally injured. He couldn't recover for a long time. I looked at him contemptuously. I said sternly, "Tomorrow morning, the Andersons' stock price must return to normal." Ethan left the country. He started a long journey to win back his wife. I was finally safe. I have already started an internship at my own company. Alex is getting clingier and clingier. He teases me inappropriately when I'm working. He kisses me. My whole body feels hot and I feel like melting. He breathes softly in my ear. "Sis, my real father came to see me. I've changed my surname. It's Oliver now. My family also plans to let me study abroad." I'm momentarily stunned. Oliver. Isn't he the second male lead who the infatuated second male lead who had looked after her for several years abroad after the female lead had left pregnant? Now Emily has run away abroad. I don't know where. He should be looking after Emily during her postpartum confinement abroad. Instead, he's in my bed serving me. I suddenly came to my senses. I pushed him away directly. Oliver's eyes lit up. "Sister, you don't want me to go abroad. If you don't want me to go, then I won't go." I looked at him. My voice was cold. "Go abroad. Don't ever come back to see me again." The smile on his face froze instantly. Then he became panicked. He hurriedly came forward and grabbed my hand. Sister, I'm not leaving. Just now I was just trying to see if you would miss me. I was wrong. I won't do it again. Don't drive me away. I pulled my hand away, got off the bed and picked up his jacket that he had thrown on the floor, got back my room key, interrupted him. It's not because of this. Then what is it because of? Did I hurt you? I promise I'll be gentler in the future. I'm tired of this. Is that okay? I lowered my eyes in contempt. He was pretending to be affectionate in front of me. The person he really liked was Emily. You can go now. I don't need to repeat myself. His face turned pale. Tears welled up in his eyes. He slowly left. Sister, I'll come back when you've calmed down. Before I could finish speaking, 3-legged toads are hard to find. But men with 2 legs are everywhere. And I'm not short of money. Alex keeps messaging me. He first mentioned buying a certain kind of cupcakes that I like. He wants to send them over. Then he asked when I'll be in the mood to vent. He said he'd be my punching bag. He also sent me pictures of his abs, which I used to like. I pretended not to see them. I just blocked and deleted them. But he's still not giving up. While the babysitter was downstairs walking the dog, he took the dog and asked the babysitter to tell me that if I wanted the dog, I had to come to him. How childish. I frowned. I asked the babysitter to pack up all the dog's things and send them to Alex. It's better to cut off all contact. He always stood outside my door. Every time I went in or out, he would stare at me and call out to me. Seeing that I was cold, he didn't dare come near. I simply left the flat empty. I moved back home. I also asked the security guard to chase Oliver away whenever he saw him. Now I finally have peace and quiet. Our family ended the business partnership with Ethan's family. Although the business is doing well, it is not yet booming. My father started worrying about my marriage again. He shamelessly asked me to go on a blind date with the son of a CEO. I said, no way. After taking over the company, I learned about the situation of the company. Although signing big contracts is important, it doesn't need to be achieved through business marriage. It's just a blind date. Dad promises you, if you don't like the other person, this will be the end of it. I still had a long face. I'll give you an extra 10% of the shares. Okay, it's settled then. I was walking slowly into the restaurant, but as soon as I saw the person I was meeting, I immediately turned around and tried to sneak away. Tess Anderson. But it was too late. I turned around with a forced smile. I didn't want to lose face in front of Oliver. Let's pretend we've already met. That won't work. He laughed when he heard that. He tilted his head slightly. He wasn't as clingy as before. His tone became firm. Why should I listen to you since you're here? Why don't you try his new product? You'll like it. The waiter quickly brought the food. Why haven't you left the country yet? I suddenly asked him. Why do I have to go abroad? Who are you to make decisions for me? He asked me in return. I froze for a moment. So, do you know Emily? He said with a frown. Yes, we were in the same class, but we weren't close. I heard that he dropped out of school later. Yes. Why does he have to go abroad? I changed my fate of being buried in the fire. Oliver didn't have to stay by Emily's side like he did in his previous life. He didn't have to fall victim to the love between the male and female protagonists. It was his life. I can't make decisions for him. I thought about Emily still wandering abroad. I don't know where she is. Where did you plan to study abroad in his previous life? He took care of Emily. He must have lived in the same place as her. As long as Ethan knew which city Emily was in, he wouldn't have to keep looking for her. She got pregnant alone abroad. It must have been hard. If Ethan had found her sooner, she could have suffered less, she said. I didn't plan to go abroad. I never thought about it. Okay, after dinner, I picked up my bag and was ready to go. Oliver insisted on seeing me off. I couldn't refuse. Halfway there, he suddenly pulled over to the side of the road where there were no people. I looked at him suspiciously. He didn't say a word. He just stared at me intently. The atmosphere was like a storm was coming. I was a little nervous. What are you doing? Don't you want to explain? I was a little guilty. I avoided eye contact. Didn't I tell you I'm tired of it? I just like something new and exciting. The smile on his face made my heart tighten. He slammed on the accelerator. The car sped off like an arrow. I was so scared that I clung to the seat belt. I shouted in panic, "Are you crazy? You're driving too fast. You like thrills, don't you?" Once the car stopped, I was so weak that I couldn't stand up. He ignored my resistance and picked me up and carried me into the house. He pushed me down on the sofa. His whole body weighed on top of me. I pulled my hand away and slapped him. I shouted, "Are you crazy? Let me go." He laughed angrily. "Yes, I'm crazy. I've been thinking about you a lot lately. I've been going crazy. What did I do wrong? Why did you leave me? I tried to reason with him. We're both adults. Can't we stop acting like children? Isn't this supposed to be consensual? Well, I don't want it anymore. What's wrong with ending it? Oliver paid no attention. He started unbuttoning my shirt. What are you doing? I couldn't help but scream. Don't move. He unbuttoned his shirt halfway, pulled it to the sides. A tattoo on his chest appeared. Mtks Anderson, he leaned in close to show me, then cupped my face in his hands. Mtks Anderson. Do you understand what this means? Side effects. He let go of my face, laughed in anger, tugged off his shirt. I hastened to say, forced melons are not sweet. He shot back. Thirst quenching is enough. What you're doing is like drinking poison to quench your thirst. I saw him lean over. I punched him immediately, but he grabbed me. He smiled and looked down. He gently touched the back of my hand and said, have you forgotten I taught you how to fight? As soon as he finished speaking, his nose touched mine. He whispered, can you quench my thirst? The atmosphere was so ambiguous. I gasped for breath. I dodged sideways. Oliver, however, had lost patience. He closed in on me. With a strong sense of possession, he kissed me. He pushed me down on the sofa. The atmosphere grew more and more charged. It gradually spread. I felt bad about it. I had to admit defeat. The wind stopped. The rain also subsided. He gently massaged my waist. His movements were particularly gentle. He said, sister, marry me. I want both your name and you. I pushed away his hands on my waist. I stood up and said, I don't want to get married. He kept up with me. He embraced me and I couldn't break free. Your father seems to be quite satisfied with me. I looked up at him doubtfully. When did he go and meet my father? His eyes gleamed with a sense of accomplishment. I can marry into your family. I'll even bring a dowry. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with getting married. On the day of the wedding, he wanted everyone to know. He even forced me to post it. When I refused, he said with a face full of grievances, I don't know who it is. When I was previously engaged to someone else, I posted 10 WeChat moments. I asked him if he could get the tattoo removed, because every night those 3 letters are in my face. I pouted and said, it's really ugly. He laughed. Don't say that about yourself.